It's time again for March Madness, and here in Providence, our Friars are dancing. And whether you hope that Coach Cooley, Chris Dunn, Ben Benzel, and cast can take our Friars to the Final Four, or maybe you're just heading up to the dunk to see the Duke Blue Devils play, you probably filled out a bracket. More than a few of you in Friartown have come up to me and said, "Hey Jeff, you're a stats professor. Who should I pick in my bracket?" And to be honest, I don't know. Just because I know something about a standard error doesn't mean that I know that Seton Hall won the Big East tournament because they're playing hot, or maybe they just got lucky. How about a couple of these trends? As far as the number 8 matchups go, the 8-9 matchups, 15 of the last 20 have been won by the 8 seed. Of the 7-10 matchups, 9 of the last 12 have been won by the 7 seed. As far as the 6-11 matchups go, those have been a coin flip for the past 3 years. Now those are just the trends as far as seeding goes. Maybe teams are playing hot right now because they're coming off of a big championship tournament win. Maybe there are teams right now who are struggling because their star player just went down. Maybe teams are tired, they're traveling a lot. Maybe these seeding arrangements have changed. Over the course of the past number of years, what's gone into putting teams into certain seeds has changed quite a bit. How am I supposed to put all that together? So when you come to me, Friartown, and you say, "Hey Jeff, you're a stats professor, who should I pick?" Well, I'm going to tell you to pick the favorite. But what we here at PCTV wanted to do was to go out and ask a whole bunch of you who you're picking. And I'm sure you've all picked the number 1 seed to beat the 16 seed, and I'm probably sure most of you have picked number 2 over 15. So we went out and we asked more than 100 of you, split evenly across gender and graduation date, to find out who you were picking in some of the 8-9 and 7-10 matchups. And here's what we found out. So I'm here with Cisco Ayer. Good to see you again, Cisco.
Good to see you.
So I'm here with George.
How you doing?
George Allen, how are you?
Good.
So I'm here with Rob Torado. Rob, nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming by. Now, Rob, you're going to tell me a bunch about some basketball games here. Today we're talking about the 2016 March Madness brackets, particularly some of the 7-10 and 8-9 matchups. I want to start with the South. The 7-10 matchup in the South is a pretty interesting one. We got the Iowa Hawkeyes against the Temple Owls. Number 7 seed Iowa against number 10 Temple. Who do you have coming out of that one?
I like Iowa in this matchup. I think they're a well-coached team by Fran McCaffrey. They were top 5 at one point in the country during the middle of the season. I think they have a lot of physicality that really can't be matched by Temple, and I think they will come out with a victory in this one.
Out of the East, it's the 7-10 matchup. The 7 seed Wisconsin Badgers against the 10 seed Pitt Panthers. Who do you got in this one?
I got Pitt.
You got Pitt. Now, I'd like you to know that based on our results, only 31% of PC students think that Pitt's going to win that game. Now, you're going against the tide here. Why do you think Pitt's going to beat Wisconsin?
Well, one of the major drawbacks that Wisconsin had was that a lot of their players left from last year. One of the big players, Frank Kaminsky, was a big part of their offense. And as we know, Wisconsin runs not a fast-paced offense. They're very, very slow. And I think that'll do them in when facing such an athletic team as Pitt.
Out in the Midwest, we've got the Dayton Flyers, the 7 seed, against the 10 seed Syracuse Orange. Who you got in this matchup and why?
I have a big orange. I still have a bitter taste in my mouth from Dayton. I do know a couple of guards that came out of New York City that's on Dayton, so I have to show respect to them, but I don't know, I just can't get over them beating us last year. And like I said before, I was an Orange fan before I came to Providence, so I got to stick with them for that.
Let me ask you about this one. Number 7 seed Oregon State faces the VCU, number 10 seed VCU. Which team do you think is going to win out of that matchup and why?
You know, I'm very split because Oregon State has one of the best players, Gary Payton Jr., who's the son of Gary Payton, who has been one of the best players this year in college. But, you know, as has been prior experience, VCU's always can't count them out. So I have to go VCU. It's a little bit against the tide because of seeding, but I think VCU's their defense is just amazing.
Yeah, and in fact, according to 538, VCU has a 73% chance of winning that game, which is interesting too because, again, you do not speak for Friartown on this one because 64% of students at Providence College are saying that Oregon State's going to win that game, and only 36% say that VCU is going to win. Let's move into the Midwest. There's an 8-9 matchup in the Midwest. We're talking about number 8 seed Texas Tech against the number 9 seed Butler team. Which team do you think is going to win out of there?
That's a toss-up. I think both teams are very even. I think Butler's going to win because I think they have they're more well-rounded in the sense of team play. They have Roosevelt Jones, who can drive, finish on the layups, and Kellen Dunham, who's obviously a fantastic three-point shooter. And obviously they're well-coached, so I think they will come out with a victory.
There's this matchup out of the East. The USC Trojans are facing the Providence College Friars. We've got the USC Trojans with their red and their yellow, and we've got the Friars here. We got Coach Cooley, we got Chris Dunn, we got Ben Benzel. We could keep going, but I want you to go. Who do you think is going to win that matchup and why?
To be honest with you, Cots, I've never even heard about this USC Trojan basketball team.
It's a hard choice, but I think I'm going to have to go with Providence College.
Why do you say Providence College is going to win this matchup?
You know, everything that I've seen from Providence College this year, it seems the one constant is the teams that give us trouble are teams that have height. We can't out-rebound them because we don't have a 7-footer. But I think based on athleticism and based that USC doesn't really have a big center, I think we can take it.
I think Providence is going to win this matchup, mainly because we've come out of our little slump. We destroyed St. John's. We beat Butler handily, hung with Villanova very well in the Big East tournament. I think Chris Dunn's playing much better. He's distributing the ball very well. Ben Bentel's obviously shooting the lights out, which is fantastic. He's playing well.
I also did my research. USC has a nice balanced 5. They score a bunch, but the defense, I think they were ranked 252nd. So how are you really going to stop Ben Bentel and Chris Dunn if that's your ranking? So I got them breezing by USC.
The only thing that I can see is we just need a third player to contribute. We've seen little spurts from Jalen Lindsey or Rodney Bullock, and I think if we get that, we should win the game. USC is a very good team. I think that seeding could have easily been flipped because just based on resume. Also, Kyron Carver has been playing very well lately. He's been running the point quite well, and which has been taking some of the weight off Chris Dunn's shoulders.
How far do you think the Friars are going to go this year?
Well, I think this is Revenge Tour 2016, so I have them being USC and then North Carolina.
For one last rundown of what you at Providence College picked for those 8-9 and 7-10 matchups, here you go. In the South, the 8th seed Colorado team against the 9th seed UConn Huskies, 84% of you picked UConn to win that matchup. And in the 7-10 matchup, the 7th seed Iowa Hawkeyes against the 10th seeded Temple Owls, 59% of you picked the 7th seed Iowa Hawkeyes to win that matchup. Coming out of the Midwest, the 8th seed Texas Tech team against the 9 seed Butler team, 70% of you picked the 9 seed Butler team to win that matchup. As far as the 7-10 matchup goes in the Midwest, the 7 seed Dayton Flyers were picked by 55% of you, as opposed to the 10 seed Syracuse Orange, only picked by 45%. Out of the East, the 8 seed USC Trojans were picked by 8% of you in Friartown. 92% of you said go Friars. The 7-10 matchup, Wisconsin against Pitt. The 7 seed Wisconsin team was picked by 69% of you. And finally, out of the West, the 8-9 matchup between St. Joe's and Cincinnati, 53% of you picked St. Joe's. And the 7-10 matchup between Oregon State and VCU, 64% picked the Oregon State Beavers. I'm Jeff Kotz for PCTV. Turn us on.